Nope. I'll put this up here like an idiot. It's got to come down here. Oh, there they go. There go all the things. Okay, right. Let's turn this bloody brightness down so I don't look like a fucking sheet. Come on, you bastard. Come on. Oh shit, I'm turning it bloody well up now. Fuck's sake. Okay, right. Let's change this colour. Greetings. So I'm gonna attempt to start making a dungeon because I've not had a chance to touch this project in months. Yeah, not too bad. Finished a couple games yesterday on stream, and that's been about all I've done since, because I finished that about 6 o'clock yesterday. So yeah, no, that's literally all I've done. Oh god. Now imagine people all the usuals or the other usuals will start filtering in within the next sort of 10 minutes or so ish. What this time? It's about 5:10, so that's to be expected. Yeah. So the plan for today is to start work on this big dungeon. I wouldn't call it a mega dungeon. Greetings, Joe. So a little bit of backstory here now, because I'll probably have to repeat this later on when a few more people filter in, but a little bit of backstory. I started working with a guy called Andy Headley, or the Old Goat, as he's known on Twitter. He's a fairly new DM's Guild writer, but he's gotten a lot of he's worked with a lot of big people. Like he has an adventure out with Steve Fiddler at the moment. It's a really cool adventure from what I've seen. He's in Orun's Almanac, which is really cool. Those adventures, from what I've heard, are very, very good. But I started working with him a long time ago. Early last year, I think, on this adventure called Relics of the Old Realm. It started out as like a Google Doc. It was about a race to acquire artifacts, and we worked on it for about 2 or 3 months, and then we were looking to get it playtested. We had some notes, and I turned those notes into a full written adventure, and we had it playtested, and we got the playtest notes back, and they hated it. They said it was bad, and we should just scrap it all and work on something better, which was a bit harsh, but ultimately they were right. It was a bad adventure. There was a lot of fundamental problems with it that just didn't really work, like things that just actively just didn't work at all. We tried toying with redesigning it a lot over the next several months, and because to get the playtest ready, I spent an entire day. I think I spent probably about 10 hours over the space of 2 days. Most of that 10 hours on the last day, preparing a presentable PDF to the playtesters. And, I spent 10 fucking hours on it, and I came out and it looked pretty good, given that it was, a sample product. And, they hated it. And for good reason. It was bad. It's a bad adventure. But conceptually, it was still really good, and there were good parts of it and good ideas in it. And this is, after a long time of kind of toying with what we wanted to do with it, I said, hey, I have this idea. How about we do actually scrap everything and make this a dungeon crawl adventure? Because the dungeon at the end, which the playtesters didn't get to, is really good. It's a bit sort of it's a bit one track, like it needs some more spiraling paths, but it's the final dungeon still had a lot of good content in it. It was good stuff, and I liked it. And I realized I really hate writing standard adventures like this, where it was like, go from A to B and find a way to kind of force the players to get there. I really hated that. It sucked. I really hated it. So what we did from there, how about we contain it in a single dungeon? You know, we skip the expedition to get to the dungeon, which was the bad part of the adventure to begin with, and we just make we take all the good bits of the adventure, all the cool stuff, and just put it in the dungeon instead, and make the whole adventure one big dungeon. And that's what this is going to be. This is what I'm going to try and do over the course of a few streams, is lay down the foundations for a cool dungeon. You know, some extensive notes, the kinds of stuff that I could spend a few days and write up into something very playable, very runnable, and fun. That is my hope, at the very, very least. That is my hope. Whether, you know, these are the notes that I have at the moment. I have more notes elsewhere. I have all the old notes, all of that. But this is where I'm going to start. I'm just going to take a drink because I've been like, I'm pretty sure the last 5 minutes was me talking as one gigantic paragraph. So I'm going to take a drink. God. Okay. So the dungeon is called Milamnir. It is an official place in Forgotten Realms, and it works quite well because it is an old elven tomb, an old elven city that was destroyed. In the lore, there is a green dragon there called, I don't remember what her name is, but she has a name. I'll look it up. Milamnir. Because the wonderful thing, like, say what you want about the Forgotten Realms, because it has a lot of, like, weird things in it, and it's also kind of boring. It's real nice to have a wiki where you can just look up anything and it just gives you a straight answer. It's good stuff. Oh, thank you very much for the follow. Let me just, need to move the alerts up because they're... a bit chopped off by the Mixer's cover. Yeah, it's another thing. Mixer's Mysterious Mix is out. You can get it on the guild. It's pretty good. Me and Joe spent a good couple months working on that. Very happy with how it came out. Say, shoot. I am intrigued. I'm usually bad with traps because I struggle to find ways to contextualize them in a dungeon because all of the sort of cool traps are like ridiculous, and they don't really make any sense. But then again, some of them are kind of fun, so you know. What's this dragon's name? Oh, good lord. Right. That text is tiny. Chlorocradara. Yeah. Chlorocradara. Chlorocradara. Yes. Right. So my idea is to split the dungeon into 3 levels. The third level being very similar to the one from the original adventure, the one that was the one that sucked. But the dungeon was good. The dungeon had some cool stuff in it, and I'm gonna transfer a lot of that across, and I'm gonna keep it in place here. Level 1 is gonna be near the surface, sort of the top level of the city. And it's going to be less of a dungeon and more... Well, I don't really know exactly what it's going to be, but my thought is to have it be sort of the sunken ruins of the city that have kind of fallen into a deep valley. So it's a bit more open, a bit more explorable. There's lots of orcs down there. There's probably there's some explorers have gotten down there. Another main thing is that there are going to be, this dungeon is very big. There's going to be a lot of creatures, a lot of explorers who also want to be looking through this place, treasure hunters looking for old elven relics. And you will be able to find treasure hunters living and dead around the place, and you can either help them or hinder them. Some of them will do the same to you. There is a specific group who were in the original adventure, as a group of tabaxi. I forget what their names are off the top of my head, but they're sort of like a ragtag bunch looking for treasure. And the treasure at the end of this dungeon, the DM gets to choose, and they're all really powerful artifacts. There is, I forget exactly which, let me try and find it. Relics of the Old Realm. Let me go find the magic items. Nope. I'm trying to find it. Oh, there is the Golden Orb of Siluvinade, which is a magical orb that can basically just protect you from the effects of magic. It's not quite a counterspell, but you can spend its charges to gain advantage on spell saves or impose disadvantage on spell attacks, or you can just spend extra charges and just be like, no, the spell doesn't affect me. Fuck you and your spell. There's the Hand of Gaia, which lets you do some nature-y things. You can, it just has a bunch of charges in it. And then there is the Arivendaran Battle Fortress, which creates it's like a miniature about this big, and you put it on the ground in an open space, and it not only creates a magical castle for you, akin to Dane's Instant Fortress, but it becomes a magical flying castle because it lifts up a piece of the ground that it stood on, and it becomes a magic flying castle that you can move around on. So that's the one that every DM is going to pick because it's awesome. And the other two are like kind of or your DM will say, oh yeah, there's all three here. Someone gets the orb, someone gets the hand, and everyone gets to share the fucking the Howl's Moving Castle. No, it's not Howl's Moving Castle, because that thing's on legs, isn't it? It's the Castle in the Sky. I think that's the one. That's the one is the Sky Orbital Death Cannon. Is that the one? I've not seen any Ghibli movies, in case that wasn't clear. Yes, it's Castle in the Sky. That's the one I'm thinking of. I assumed as much, given that it is literally called Castle in the Sky. But a lot of the Ghibli movies, or specifically, as somebody who's not seen them, I've always confused Castle in the Sky, Howl's Moving Castle, and because they have castles in them, and the Valley of the Wind as well, because they have very similar visual aesthetic. Off the top, maybe they don't. I don't actually know because I've not seen any of the movies. Okay. Either way. So my aim for today is to create some notes, to decide some things, to come up with some cool ideas on things that can be in the dungeon, things that I definitely don't want to be in the dungeon. And because this dungeon's so fucking big, it's going to be a bit more in depth in the way that it's in depth, isn't the word, it's going to take a lot more than what I would normally do, and just literally use the random dungeon generation tools from the DMG, which, to be honest, I might still use anyway, especially for the level 3, like the actual dungeon level, because obviously for the top level it's going to be like a ruined city, and that's going to be a bit more difficult to map out. And I realise, thinking about this, knowing that neither myself nor Andy really have map making skills, really got to get Zuchin on this. Actually, that's probably a good idea. He likes, if there's anything he likes doing, it's making maps, and he's very, very good at it. So. Okay. Oh, God. Okay. So, make these into bullet point lists, and everyone feel free to chime in with ideas or opinions or what have you. So I guess another thing I should probably do is create a themes. Is sort of mostly for you guys' benefit, because I know what the themes are. I've worked on this adventure on and off for a long time, but I think it'd be useful, even for me, to have them just kind of written down. So themes is exploration in a confined area, race against other treasure hunters. Sure thing. I say I am intrigued by traps because I never really used them in my home game, like at all. Because I find that, like, I don't mind, like, you know, traps that are just damage. You know, like, a pit, you fall 60 feet and, you know, break your wrist, or what have you. Those are fine. I don't have a single problem with those. But when it gets to, like, the weird, like, buzzsaw death traps, I'm like, why are these here? And also, you know, how are you not just getting sawn into pieces by these? Race against other treasure hunters. Living dungeon. So the living dungeon meaning that there is variable life inside the dungeon. I feel for this, I'm going to need to read The Sunless Citadel from Tales of the Yawning Portal, because to my memory, that does this, the living dungeon thing, really, really well. I know the top level of the Sunless Citadel, like the top, maybe not one of the levels of the Sunless Citadel, the one that I've used the map of in my home games, like I've just stolen the map like 7 or 8, well, I think I've stolen it like 4 times for my home game. It has 2 distinct factions. Yeah, no, go ahead. As I say, you've asked about it, so that's fine. Okay, hang on. I'll copy in here so everyone else can give it a read too. I'll just Hallucination trap. The trap is a simple arcane mechanism that can be tied to a lock or similar device. The device acts as a trigger for the trap, and when the trap is triggered, the creature who triggered it must make a DC 15 intelligence saving throw. On failed save, in an unoccupied space within 10 feet of them, a hallucinatory creature is summoned. The creature is invisible and intangible to all creatures except the creature who triggered the trap. Unable to be harmed or seen by anyone else, it is hostile towards the creature that triggered the trap, and any damaging effects that the creature would have deals psychic damage instead of its normal damage type. The creature can be any creature of challenge rating 6 or lower that has an intelligence score of no higher than the creature who triggered the trap. If the creature that triggered the trap successfully damages the hallucinatory creature, they can make another intelligence saving throw. Oh. Okay. Right. Welcome in, Mothra. I like this trap a lot. This is the kind of like, this trap can be really easily contextualized within a dungeon, because any creature that opens, any creature that knows about the trap will open it and won't be affected by the hallucination. That should probably be something you add, actually, is any creature that is already aware of the trap and its nature is unaffected and succeeds its saving throw, and takes no damage from the hallucinated creature or whatever. But yeah, I really like this. This is really cool. I namely like the sort of oddly, like, a challenge rating 6 has an intelligence score no higher than the creature who triggered the trap. I really like that. That's really cool. But let's say there is sort of like a puzzle room, kind of almost like a funhouse dungeon puzzle room in the original dungeon. There's like a bunch of levers that you can, they're all facing directly forwards, and you can pull them up or pull them down, and they do different things depending on which way you pull them. I forget specifically what each of them does, and I could probably go look, actually. Let's have a look. Oh, here we go. Indeed, welcome in. Oh, here we go. So if you pull, so there's an iron lever. If you pull it up, the lever holders suffers lightning damage, and then everybody within 5 feet of them must save against the damage too. And if you turn it down, one of the doors opens. Yeah, no, I say that makes a lot of sense. It's very flavorful. I'm a big fan of it. So yeah, so exploration in a confined area, race against other treasure hunters, and a living dungeon. So a dungeon that has isn't just an empty ruin with some rats in it or whatever. Like if there's any kind of monsters inside, those monsters have a contextual reason for being there. So filled with orcs, sunken ruins of the old city. It's certainly something I would use in my home game. I don't have any particular games running at the moment where I do much dungeon crawling, mostly because dungeon crawling is a lot more prep than I would usually do for a home game, It's like my home games, I'm like, you go to like a building or something. I don't know. I think I just making maps and Roll20 is really boring for me. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan of this trap. It's cool. This is something I'd put on like some noble or something has the King's Court wizard has put this lock on the vault or something like that. I'll say no, it's real cool. Very open plan. I'll say yeah, it would work. I think it would work for either. I think if for Arcane or Psionic, it would both would work very well. So obviously Arcane has illusion and enchantment, and there's they have plenty of that, so that wouldn't be a problem, I shouldn't think. Oh, shifting in a little bit more. So level 2, there's a lot of stuff going on here. There are plants and a blind dragon. So I mentioned a dragon earlier on. It's the dragon with a very, very long name. Oh god, why is that so? Chloracridara is her name, I believe. Oh, thank you very much for the follow. Yeah, it certainly is a name. I didn't make it, that's for sure. It's Forgotten Realms. What's she from? Certainly seems to be the work of old Ed Greenwood. Though could also be Eric L. Boyd, seems to be the earliest mention of her, according to the references on the Forgotten Realms wiki. So who knows? Ooh. Say for those new here, by the way, I do these kinds of streams like homebrew stuff every Monday. And I usually start at around 5 o'clock and go to just before 7. Because I have a game to go to at 7 o'clock. Though very often I will overrun because, well, I get caught up in doing things, funnily enough. So my hope for this layer is to do something that's not really been done before, is making a monster. Yeah, that would probably inhibit your ability to do that. So I find world building, you gotta be in like the right frame of mind for it. You gotta I like to start with a map or something cool that you want to steal from something. Like I had a setting where I was like, what if like the majority of the places the players were was very like Scandinavian, very sort of Nordic, and that's more or less like the inspiration. And then everything else I stole from Dark Souls, because boy howdy did I steal a lot of stuff from Dark Souls for that campaign. Like basically every major theme is like, oh, it just yoinked it from Dark Souls. Yes, that is say. Then again, if the world building at the moment is just writing some notes, then that's definitely doable. So, overgrown tunnels and sure thing, yeah. Oh. Well. Just kind of marking up some ideas. I was like, I want to create this kind of like, you go from like this big wide open, fairly bright, little dingy, under the tree canopy kind of thing. Everything's dim light. There's lots of orcs, and like, there's like a camp of orcs in one part of the city, and you gotta try and sneak through. There's some other like monsters, maybe some plant creatures or what have you, and then you find a way to get down to the level below, and then it's very quiet, it's very eerie, and it's very claustrophobic. It goes from being very open to very, very narrow, very suddenly, and you're kind of creeping through, and you can hear this kind of shifting and shuffling, and then eventually, you see at the other end of the tunnel there is just like this dark shape, this huge dark shape's kind of crawling through the tunnel, and it gets close enough to you, and it's a big ass dragon. You know, it's like an ancient dragon, which could be like there are, you know, so many ways that could be super awesome. Only issue being is that even with like some kind of crazy penalty to perception, dragons still have amazing perception bonuses. So maybe she could be like a mad dragon or something. So her stats are much lower than. So otherwise she'd just be able to breathe poison in one direction and just like kill everyone anyway. So who knows? Like, well, I'm gonna work it out. But I want there to be a big ass dragon down there because that could be so awesome. You know, the party like creeping around. There's, you know, this creature. And they don't know what it is, and then they get close enough to it. No, not particularly. I'm just elaborating on my notes. Yes, well, welcome in, Libby, welcome in. So, overgrown tunnels and sewers from the old city. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I kind of want this level to be relatively simple. Maybe like some I don't think so, no. I take it you didn't whisper it to me or anything. My stream did have a weird kind of dip for a second. I'll say, slap it in a Google Doc or something, and then send a link to that. Yes. Oh, God, my bones. So level 3, so we got a more traditional dungeon. So we're looking at oozes, plants. Yeah. Oozes, plants, mimics, etc. Acts as a tune for an order of elves. I'm not sure if it sent all of it. It seems cut off at the end, but what I'm getting so far, it seems pretty cool. It reminds me a lot of yes, it looks like the end of it is cut off, but I did get it. It reminds me a lot of Oko from Magic. I'm not sure if anyone here is familiar. I know Joe's in here and he's very familiar with Oko. He's very familiar with Oko. But more about hating him and less about yeah, he's his whole thing that he's from a plane that is ruled by fairies, and he hates them because that he hates authority. This reminds me of it mostly just because it's a world run by fairies. Yeah, I'm liking the beast, like the Capricorn. This is cool. I like it. It feels very much like a magic plane. It's very themed. Ah, okay. Oh. Yeah, sure thing. Go ahead. I'm a advocate for world building. World building is good shit. Oh, no, an order, not an older. No, it should be fine. Go ahead. Let's have a proper read. Man on the moon, the dragon turtle on the moon. This is good. This is good. I always love primeval dragons. Primeval dragons are cool. Little fun fact: Asmodeus, the Lord of all the devils, traditional D&D villain, not actually a devil. Sort of a devil. Not a guy. Big snake. One of the snakes that made the universe. The other snake that made the universe died and made all the Kuatls, which is why there are very few Kuatls, because their god is dead. And nobody in the multiverse really knows about Asmodeus' bullshit. That he's actually a gigantic half-dead snake. Little fun fact there. Yeah, I like this. This is cool. A lot of like. As Asmodeus has very a lot of the thing with the Forgotten Realms is over time it became a much more generic D&D setting, and nowadays it's just like there's nothing really unique about it really at all. There's a few like cool locations, like Icewind Dale is pretty cool, and you get like cool characters like Xanathar and Jarlaxle Bainra, but generally speaking, Forgotten Realms in like the 90s was incredible. Like there's so much cool shit in old Forgotten Realms. It has such great lore, but nowadays it kind of sucks. Mage Wyvern. That reminds me of are they called the Phylum? I want to say they're called the Phylum, which are also coincidentally from the Forgotten Realms. Are they called? What are they called? They're from Netheril. They're from the Netheril age. The Ferrim, that's it. That was the dudes I was thinking of. Okay, that's cool. I'll put undead in here because there are some undead. One of the ending bosses is I forget what they're called. A Baelnorn. That's it. I'd say the I think it's one of those things. You put it in where you can, really. It's I don't know. I'm more lackadaisical on the on representation personally, but like people want it, so you give the people what they want. You know, like it's you know, if I'm personally not particularly bothered by it. I'm not fussed about seeing it or not seeing it personally. Don't really care. But you know, lots of people do, so you should do it. You know, that's more or less my motto. Is if everybody cares about something, even if you're not that bothered, you should probably meet their expectations. Yeah, no, it's cool stuff. I am a fan. I'm a fan of very over the top, like crazy, like world histories. They're always good fun, because your players know that the first time you mention it is you know, whatever cool world-ending event you mention more than once in the campaign. I mean, the player's gonna be like, oh, okay, so that's gonna be our end game like thing, right? And then you go, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's just an important piece of history. When that is 100% what you're doing every single time, because it's always cool. I say I have a my current setting that I run one of my games in is so yeah, it's pretty cool. I am a fan of primordial world creating dragons. It's cool stuff. So the one of the settings I run is it's called the Skies of Aelune, and it is basically a series of floating islands, some of which are, you know, like sapient bestial creatures the size of a small continent. You know, there's a big turtle. You know, there's a big rock turtle, and there's a big shark, and a big jellyfish, and a big elk. And all of that. There is okay, right. That's cool. I like that. That's some symbolism. Good stuff. Yeah. So what are the whole sort of premise of the world is that everything is up in the sky. You know, there's everyone, is either on an airship or on a floating island or a floating island with a face. And no one really knows what happened. They know what happened was bad. Like, the world shouldn't be in the sky. And whatever made it that way was definitely a bad thing. But no one really knows, like, exactly what happened, like, at all. No one actually knows. So, yeah, that's like the story there. There's a bunch of like mysterious things. Like at the very center, there's like a big tower that's surrounded by constant storms, and that the whole sort of all the islands kind of revolve around this kind of artificial magnetic north. It's very good fun. But having big, crazy world-building stuff, having big world history, always a good time. But also little world history is also nice too. I remember for one of my other campaign settings I was talking about earlier on, like where everything was very underground forests. Yeah, those are good. Those are good. The setting I was talking about earlier with is very sort of Nordic themed. Oh, that's cool. Big floating ostentatious sundial is good stuff. But one of the things I did for when I was writing that setting was I wrote the entire 300-year history of a country, and it took me fucking ages. Like, it took me so long to do, but it was really interesting. It was like this world has become 100 times more interesting, just on the basis that I know this king that ruled this country 200 years ago, because I fleshed out the things that king did. This country has so much more going on with it, so much more internal politics. At the very, very least, if you have a big important country in your setting, you should at least go back and list all the people that have run it. For instance, the people that ran it, how long they ran it for, why they stopped running it, did they get assassinated, writing about the important things that they did, this person gave additional rights to the poor, or something, he freed the serfs or something, this king from 200 years ago or whatever. But yeah, I love me some I love me some world history. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I say I do want to do some I've done a world building stream before, but it was for a very specific thing. I want to try and make a weird setting at some point. I'm a big because you two seem to be very invested in weird, well, not weird, but more abstract fantasy. I would highly. I'm gonna go find a link to it. I'm gonna put it in here, but I would highly recommend both of you give this a read. It's strange and it's weird, and I remember when I explained it to Joe, he didn't like it very much. He thought it was a bit too ridiculous, and it gave him a fever dream nightmare. But it's wonderful. I love it so much. I'm gonna send a... I would highly recommend you two give this a read, because and all of the associated posts. Oh, you have? Good. John Battle is a genius. He is an absolute fucking genius. He has a game based in this world called Songbirds, and from what I've seen of it, it's pretty good. But I'm mostly going to run this setting in 5e because I love me some 5e, and also, like, I want to run this setting like in a big long campaign. His name is John Battle, which is perhaps the best possible name. I think he goes by Bats on Twitter, to my knowledge. I think he is just like, I think he has the tag @Bats, like BATTS. Let me just double check. Let's go find him on twitter.com. Oh no, he doesn't have the Twitter handle. And here's his Twitter. His stuff is absolutely incredible. This is we stand John Battle, absolute fucking genius writer. Yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun. Sadly, I can't really share all the cool lore from a lot of my settings because most of my a good number of my players are in here. Ooh, umlau o. I don't know what sound that makes, but it looks very cool. Sadly not. I cannot tell you all the secrets. I mean, for the Nightfall campaign, you just have to go play Dark Souls and it'll probably spoil everything. Oh, okay. I'm trying to think of like things I can actually like settings I've written. I'll say the product I released on Drive-Thru in November, Angela's Deific Dictionary, the last big thing I released. A lot of the stuff from Angela's there we go. Oh, it does it properly now. It actually does it on 2. Oh, okay, right. Yes, I saw the message before, but yes, Arcanus. Yeah, that's cool. That rolls off the tongue quite nicely. But the Angela's Deific Dictionary, which is a book I released on Drive-Thru in November. It's a book about gods. That they're all like. Yeah, it's basically a book where every god has like 2 to 3 full pages of like lore and dogmas and tenets, organizations. They have a champion, and they get like a cool artifact, stuff like that. All of the gods have all of that, and there's a bunch of gods from settings I can't actually talk about. There is Aethios, who used to be an angel, who was like, right, let's combat evil. I'm gonna go to Limbo, the plane of chaos, and I'm gonna drain all of its power into me and my buddies, me and my 5 followers, and I'm gonna drain all of its power. And he gets like a third of the way through, in a matter of a couple seconds, and immediately is destroyed and is turned into a gigantic, like, swirling vortex of terror. Things don't go too well for him, in case that wasn't really clear. And I will open up Angela's and I will read his, assuming it's not obscenely long, because it might actually be quite long. I don't remember how long it is. Give me a minute. Where is Aethios? Here he is. Okay, no. I'd say I can give you a little. This is from page 16 of Angela's Deific Dictionary. There's, Ethos, his alignment to chaotic evil, with the domains Chaos and Tempest. His titles, he is either Ethos, the Rage of Chaos, or Ethos, the Heart of Limbo. And he's got a little lore snippet. So the great Archangel Ethos was a widely beloved and respected general who fought against 1,000 fiendish incursions. His sword had torn asunder countless devils and demons, severing their connection to their home plane before they could be reborn. Slayer of devil lords and demon princes, Ethos was beloved across the multiverse. Ethos saw an end to the ceaseless carnage, one that he sought to bring about himself, to take the infinite power of Limbo and shape it into a force powerful enough to wipe out the lower planes entirely. Such a quest was carried out as the Archangel and his most elite allies delved into the ever-changing realm to perform a ritual. However, such a ritual comes at a terrible cost, a cost unforeseen by the angels and hidden by dark forces, a consequence that would shape not just the shifting realms of Limbo, but the very multiverse itself. The ritual formed a great crystal, one that held the power of a world, a power unable to be controlled even by the archangels, and thus they were consumed. Torn asunder, melded and torn again, the creature that was born was one beyond mortal comprehension, a being so immense, so fractured, so pained, so enraged that mortal eyes gaze only upon a swirling abyss of blackened nothing. Chaos itself. Very cheery. The creature, drawing in all that came near, sought a place of infinite energy, a place where all the latent magic of the planes had to offer would drain, the material plane. When the first of the gods fell, and the beast drew its power in, the world quaked as cities fell upwards, spiraling into the darkness. No one god could face it. Such an event brought even the endless blood war to a standstill as fiends pawned from the lower planes, joining forces with the gods, and drove Ethos into Limbo, where the gods of mortals, demon princes, and devil lords forged 1,000 pacts to bind the beast in chains, shattering its core across the multiverse and locking it away in the depths of Limbo until the end of time itself. Despite the rage of Chaos's imprisonment, the shards of its shattered crystalline core have passed through the planes, draining such places of their magic and spawning horrid abominations. The greater shards formed into the Harbingers, fragments of the Archangel's ancient allies, who seek to reunite and free their master. Ethos himself has fallen to legend. Some believe he was a dragon the size of a mountain, breathing death itself down onto his foes. Others saw him as a great cloud of light and darkness swallowing the land. Those that know the truth see him for what he truly was. A writhing mass of unknowable, twisting, screaming horror. Good stuff. But, it's good stuff. Ethos is good fun. There is a little sidebar in his thing about the Harbingers of Chaos. So those little fragments I was talking about, there is 5 of them. There is Graul the Abomination, Nephilis the Wolf, Karad the Ape, Scylla the Squid, and Vogel the Phoenix, and they all represent different forms of madness and chaos. Oh, fucking trigger finger, Jesus! I didn't even get to read. I barely read it before it was. There's another one. But wait, there's more. Oh, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. But yeah, I say if I suppose I don't plug my shit much, but Angela's. Let me see if it's. See if my, yeah, there's a link to it on my card site. You can like read some more previews and stuff of it if you so desire. Take a look at it. because I like me some gods, and you can get a look at them. Yes, I think everyone who's currently in here was Also, I like the magic item idea you put in, Faye. It seems pretty interesting. So it'd be like a true namer's book or something like that. It would probably be some enhanced version of the command spell. Oh, if only they weren't lies. No, I don't actually give much of a shit. But I'm going to take a quick break now. When I come back, I'm going to make some more sort of concrete notes on this here. Because I'm getting some cool ideas, just kind of writing stuff down, and then I can move into, like, coming up with more concrete concepts. But I'm going to take a break. I'll probably go in about 10 minutes. Going to get some food, probably fill up some water. I'll be back very shortly. You should probably do the same yourselves, if it's that sort of time of day or whatever. I don't know if you're in my time zone, which is 6 o'clock. That's not how time zones work. It's 6 o'clock for me right now. So if it's around that time, it's probably time to eat food. So you should do that maybe, I don't know. Oh, it doesn't seem to like you putting in Either way. Yeah, I'm gonna go grab some food as well. I will be about 5-10 minutes. I will return shortly. See ya. Hey folks, I'm back. Okay, so... Oh, did nothing fall out that time? It didn't. Look at that. Isn't that nice? A rare sight. Yes, hope you all enjoyed your break. I'm going to try and sort of continue with my ventures. So, I suppose one of the main things will be... So what do we want to do with the orcs? So there's going to be a tribe of orcs here. Or maybe two. Or maybe a tribe of orcs and a tribe of something else. I don't know. But... tribal structure... more focused on agriculture. They can be reasoned with, but are very defensive. But are very defensive and somewhat xenophobic. So this, I think, it works because obviously it's sort of a vague subversion of the trope of, you know, orc sea thing, orc, you know, pillage thing. You know, that's the trope. That's the thing. That's the done thing, generally speaking. Well, that's the standard or what have you. But we can quite easily sort of subvert that in a way that's interesting. You know, they're defensive and they're more focused on farming and, you know, just kind of living. They live out in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing to raid, even if they wanted to. So these like weird. They hate the. Maybe the characters can do a job for the orcs to gain access to one of the that leads into level 2. That could be really cool. So expeditioners, a duo of elven treasure hunters have been captured by orcs. I like this sort of duality. You can side with the orcs or the expeditioners, and then maybe you can just find a way down yourself if none of the players want to interact with that. I guess we can also do wildlife. Live in the city ruins. though, are less numerous near the orc encampment. Oh. Oh. A large something. Mostly just like getting into writing notes. Chloracridara. Did I spell it right? Oh boy, I did. Look at that. She mostly succeeded. But was blinded and her wings crippled by an orcish hero. Okay, right, that's cool. A mad dragon living in the sewers. That's pretty sick. Wildlife, various plant and oh. I'm liking these notes I've got so far a lot. I think they're turning out really, really great. I'm certainly getting a lot of inspiration as opposed to the none I had before I started this. I'm not sure how far I'm going to take all of this on stream. I may start like making rooms and stuff, but that really depends. Because I think I'd need like a preliminary map of all of the levels, because level 2 will probably be very simple. It'll be just a big maze of sewer pipelines and, you know, open caves and rubble, all stalked by Chloracridara, which I think would be really, really neat. Guess I'll probably put a note about expeditioners. I put expeditioners. Expeditioners. Many have perished down here. Sure thing. Yeah, go ahead. I'll see if I can find some from one of mine in a bit. Tropical birds of prey around the size of a robin, but grey feathers with black tips, a pointy beak, sharp talons attached to venomous glands. The males were at the top of their head, similar to a cockatiel. Let me get a visual reference for that. Cockatiel. Oh, okay, right. I'm seeing the Shrike inspiration here. They yeah, that's cool. I like that. Stat-wise, what are we looking at? Evasion, flyby, pack tactics. The DC should probably be 11 or 13 for the poison saving throw, but that's not too big of a deal. And it should probably be a creature poisoned this way has its speed halved. And you can just say repeat the saving throw as well. You don't need to re-reference what kind of save it is. If a creature fails 3 saving throws in a row, or it would probably be 3 successive saving throws. But yeah, no, that's cool. They seem to have a very distinct visual, which I'm a fan of. I'll see if I can find something from one of my settings. I have something kicking around somewhere. There we go. There is collar birds. This is from my Dark Souls inspired setting. There's collar birds are small corvids, far smaller than their brethren. The collar bird is native to Calandis and southern Lunda. They live in small flocks of around 5 to 10 and scavenge for food. They get their name from the plume of white feathers that comes from around the male's neck. The females also have their collar, but it is much smaller and is dark grey in colour. That's true, actually. Yeah, I think that's probably the first time I've seen that. yeah, it's pretty cool. There are snow lopers, large sort of flightless birds, sort of like ostriches. They reside in the Iron Snake. They're a popular beast of burden due to their incredible strength and tenacity for their size. So I think, you know, it's kind of like a blend between an ostrich and a horse, really. A star eel found in the freshwater bodies connected to Lake Tobias. The star eel is a small freshwater eel around 2 to 3 feet in length, pitch black with beady little eyes and a beak. These eels are nocturnal and have small circular small circular patches on their underbellies that they can use to reflect moonlight to blind their prey. When lit up, they shine like stars. Blinding only works on small fish. People can see them with ease. They also use these patches to make mating dances. Okay. I have, what else have we got? Dagger worms, a species of toothed worm that recently appeared in Averania. They carry a plague known to the wide world as dagger lung. These worms possess beak-like structures on their head filled with razor-sharp fangs. They're generally beige in color, fading to a darker brown upon reaching maturity. Their bodies are covered in frills of dark yellow color. The young are aquatic and live in infected waters where they feed on bacteria, whilst their elders develop amphibious traits and hunger for flesh. They grow to be between 6 and 10 inches in length, and their bodies are around a centimeter or 2 thick. A Spitfire hornet. Making home to the west coast of Calandus and Esmir, the Spitfire hornet is characterized by its bright red coloration, long body, spindly legs, and giant abdomen. The hornet has a potent sting enough to cause immense pain to a human and kill small rodents. From what you've put, yeah, I can. Let me just give it another read in case there's any specific details I think could be added. Oh no size is referenced. The fact they're so tiny as well. I like them. Yeah, I suppose they're sort of a shape because they're both robins and, you know, like a robin is, you know, almost a bird made of 2 spheres, you know, whereas something like a cockatiel or like a bird of prey or like a parrot of some kind is a lot taller, a lot more sort of oblong. So I think that's the only specific detail that's not really provided is their general like shape. That too. That could be added as well. What else do I have? Oh god, I actually came up with a whole bunch of these for this setting. Grassworms. Whilst neither made of grass nor an invertebrate, the grassworm is a long green reptile native to the Runnar Midlands. It gets its name from the scales on its back that can raise like quills to camouflage itself as a tuft of grass. They eat small rodents and insects, coiling up their long bodies before leaping on prey like a spring. Their bodies are generally about 3 feet long, but are very snake-like, yet with four small, sprawling legs. They have a weak but relatively painful venom. They're also seen as a symbol to dendrites, so are often heavily disliked. Oh, is this for a product? I assume you're writing like a campaign booklet or something to that effect. Well, I mean, it does depend on specifically how much you're going for. Because I don't know. Depending on how big it is, a campaign book could, in theory, be written within a couple of years. So obviously, if you're looking for 10 years from now, whilst I very much hope it isn't, because 5th edition is fantastic, we're gonna have a 6th edition by then, like, almost certainly. I hope we don't, because 5th edition is, like, the best edition of D&D that's ever been printed, but yeah. I think you could certainly I say yeah. I've seen people do this before. I've seen John Battle do that before. Say the soundtrack to Songbirds is incredible. It is absolutely amazing. I would, for anyone who likes ambient music, even if you don't give a shit about John Battle's Songbirds, go buy the soundtrack version of it just so you can have the soundtrack, because it is that good. It is absolutely incredible. I would play some, but I wouldn't wanna piss him off in case he doesn't want to get plugged or anything like that. Okay. Pretty good, pretty good. I've got some more notes on the go. Okay, that's cool. So I've grown a strong attachment to ambient music, which is a hop, skip, and a jump away from like music, which is a scary thought, because I've listened to like what is the more famous music. Like ambient stuff is like my favorite kind of music, I think. Oh, Lady Blue, that's the music song I really like. I suppose that depends on how fancy your thingies are. God, I can't words today. Fancy your audio sets are. I forget specifically what they're called. So I did music for a long time, but because I don't know how to mix or master, I could write like because the only way I know how to write is write classical. I write sheet music. So stuff like Sibelius is the only thing I can really write with, and I can't make cool ambient music in Sibelius, and I don't understand. I don't understand mixing and mastering well enough to be able to use something like Audacity to make music without like without completely failing to maintain tempo, like at all. Oh shit! It is 5 to it is 5 to 7. I should probably get going in a couple of minutes. I think that's something I would actually like to do. Is I would like to. I would like to learn patching. I forget what the actual term for it is called. Fuck. I don't fucking remember what it's called. Modular synthesizing. But because it would probably help me learn some vague, sort of, some proper like audio engineering skills that I don't understand otherwise. But yeah. Either way, I think I've made a reasonable amount of progress today. We've also done a lot of chatting, but that's fine. It was a good fun stream. I am gonna go see if there's anyone to raid. There is not, so I will probably sign off here because I have a game I need to go to in a minute. I'm very much enjoying the world my GM has. It's very sort of Conan, very much grounded in fantasy realism, which I'm a big fan of. Everything feels everything feels very natural in that game. It's very, very traditional medieval fantasy, and I'm having a good time with it. So yes, I say thank you very much for stopping by, folks. So these streams are always good fun to do. It tends to be a lot more people come in for these. So because it's mostly just me making stuff and chatting to people as opposed to like getting distracted by playing games or whatever. As for this coming week, I am streaming. Oh, let me find out. I am not going to be streaming this Friday or this Saturday, I don't think. But on Sunday, I am starting playing through Platinum, and I'm doing something else with someone that I'm not sure has been 100% confirmed yet. Later on in the evening, like at 10 p.m. I'll be on someone else's stream. I'll probably tweet about it. I'll slap my Twitter in here or whatever if people would like to follow me on twitter.com. I tweet things on there occasionally, and maybe sometimes they're funny. They mostly aren't though. But either way, hope folks have enjoyed themselves. I will. I shall endeavour to. I might try and make time to stream something during the week. Maybe some more of this. I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that because it really depends on what's going on over these next few days. Because I got a lot of freelance stuff I need to finish, and I also need to like learn marketing and a bunch of other bits and pieces. But either way, hope folks enjoy themselves. I'm gonna sign off now. I will see some of you no doubt next Sunday or perhaps earlier, depending on what happens. So yeah, see ya.